Second to last page, woohoo! Okay, SU is the bisector. Again, that means cut in half of RST. So this guy bisects this angle. So that angle and that angle are the same. UR is perpendicular to RS. So UR is perpendicular, UR is perpendicular to RS. So I've got a 90-degree angle there. UT is perpendicular to ST. So there we go. Complete with a number. RS is how long and UT is how long? Well, first of all, there's a reflexive here, right? So I can use angle, angle, side to say these two triangles are congruent to each other because I've got the side, angle, angle, side. All right. Since the two triangles are congruent, what does that mean about UT? Well, it means, first of all, the triangles I matched up are URS is congruent to UTS. That's how I matched them up. So that means that RS is congruent to TS. Okay? RS is congruent to TS. TS is 8, so RS is 8. Okay? UT is congruent to UR. UR 5. You're not 5 actually. My son is. So UT is 5. That's it. You had to prove the triangles were congruent first. All right, so let's look at 39. Refer to the figure below. Given that AF is congruent to FC, so this part is congruent, and I'll just kind of do this, is congruent to this. Angle ABE and EBC are the same. So ABE, which is this one right here, I'm going to color it in, is congruent to EBC, which is this one, which means, that tells you right there that BE is a bisector, by the way. That tells you that BE, line BE is a bisector. It's an angle bisector because it cuts that angle in half. Okay. Which segment is a median? Okay. What does a median do? A median goes from vertex to midpoint. So for our median, we know that B has to be one of the points, right? B is one of the endpoints. It has to go from the vertex. What is the midpoint of the opposite side? Well, what does it tell you? AF is congruent to FC. So what's the midpoint? F. So your median is BF. Your BFF, okay? BF is your median. It goes from vertex to midpoint. Okay, how many medians does a triangle have? The triangle always has 3 medians. We can draw one from each vertex. If I wanted to, I could go from here to this midpoint. That's one median. And I could go from here to this midpoint, and that's a median. Remember, the medians always intersect at the centroid. Remember we talked about that? Okay. True or false? Okay. True or false? A segment drawn from a vertex of a triangle perpendicular to the opposite side is called the median of the triangle to that side. That's false. What do we call something that is perpendicular to the opposite side? Well, if it doesn't say midpoint, then we're just talking about a plain old altitude. Remember, an altitude looks like this. That's the altitude. If you have an obtuse triangle, sometimes where can the altitudes be? Sometimes the altitude is actually outside the triangle. Okay. And then remember, if you have a right triangle, the altitudes can actually be the sides. Two of the 3 altitudes in a right triangle are the legs. And 42, if QR is an altitude of PQR, so I'm going to draw a triangle PQR. And all I know is that QR is an altitude, so I'm going to draw it straight down. Sorry. Let me redo my picture here. Kind of goofed it up. I'm going to draw a PQR. 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 And QR is an altitude. That means this has to be a 90-degree angle. What type of triangle is PQR? It's a right triangle. Because remember, that's what we talked about. The altitudes of a right triangle, 2 of them are the sides because they're already right angles. All right, and let's finish it up here at the big finish. Hopefully my phone's running out of battery. Whoever that is on that motorcycle really needs to get a life. Anyway, solve for the given. If BD is 3x plus 2 and AE is 4x plus 8, assume B is the midpoint of AC and D is the midpoint of CE. What happens when we have a segment in a triangle connecting 2 midpoints? We call that BD is a midsegment. BD is a midsegment. So what do you know about midsegments? 2 things. Number 1, they're parallel to the opposite side. Now that doesn't really help us here. We're not dealing with angles or anything. The other thing, it is 1/2 length of the opposite side. So what does that mean? That means 4x plus 8 is twice as big as 3x plus 2. So I'm going to set it up that way. 4x plus 8 is equal to double 3x plus 2. Because I have to double this to get this. So 4x plus 8 equals distributive property, 6x plus 4. So I've got 8 equals 2x plus 4. Then I'm going to subtract 4. So 4 equals 2x. I'm going to divide both sides by 2. So x is equal to 2. Now if you want to check your answer, plug in the 2. 3 times 2 plus 2 gives you 8. So it says that the midsegment's 8. 4 times 2 plus 8 gives you 16, which says this guy's 16. Is that one twice as big? Yes. 44. If EF is 5x plus 6 and AC is 3x minus 2, that's this guy, then what's the length of BF? Well, this is a midsegment. We know that because these guys tell you that C is a midpoint and these guys tell you that A is a midpoint. Okay? So since it's a midsegment, this is equal to 1/2 of this. All right? But technically that means this and BF are the same, because that means this is half and these are each half, so they're all the same. All right, so anyway, we know that 5x plus 6 is equal to twice 3x minus 2. So 5x plus 6 equals, use distributive property, 6x minus 4. I'm going to come over here. So 5x plus 6 equals 6x minus 4. I'm going to use the subtraction property, so I'm going to move the 5x over. That cancels, so 6 equals x minus 4. Then I'm going to use the addition property to come back over, so 10 equals x. So that is x. Now I don't want x, I want to actually know how long it is. Well, it's going to be this. Remember, this is the same as this and this. Or if you wanted to plug 10 in here and cut it in half, you can do that. So I'm going to take 3 times 10 minus 2, which is 28. So that's how long it is. All right, the last one. The coordinates of the midpoints of the sides of a triangle